Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for November 22nd. I bet I know what they talk about in 1963. Well, first, though, in 1849, Austin College, named in honor of Stephen F. Austin, was incorporated by the Brazos Presbytery of the Old School Presbyterian Church. It began as a men's college and theological school and was initially located at Huntsville. The first classes were held in the fall of 1850, and the cornerstone of Austin Hall was laid in June 24, 1851. Austin College was relocated to Sherman in 1878, where 53 students enrolled for the fall session. In 1868, John Nance Garner, future Vice President of the United States, was born in a log cabin near Detroit, Texas. And in 1963, can you guess what happened on this day? President John F. Kennedy was assassinated at 12:30 p.m. in Dallas while riding a motorcade. At 2:38 p.m. on Air Force One at Love Field, Lyndon Johnson was sworn in as President of the United States. That evening, Air Force One took Kennedy's body, as well as Johnson, Claudia A. Lady Bird Johnson, and Jackie Kennedy back to Washington, D.C. That afternoon, police officer J.D. Tippit stopped a suspect for questioning and was shot and killed. And that evening, Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested in a Dallas movie theater and charged with killing Kennedy and Tippit. On November 24th, while being transferred, Oswald was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, a Dallas lounge operator. Ruby was tried for killing Oswald, but while waiting for a retrial, he died from a blood clot in his lungs on January 3rd, 1967. The Warren Commission concluded that Oswald acted alone when he shot Kennedy from a hiding place in the Texas School Book Depository. A lot of questions surrounding that. Interesting story. My grandmother was transporting my aunt from their home in Oak Cliff and taking her back up to Denton, back to school. She was at North Texas State at the time. And they just happened to be driving by exactly at the same time when this happened. And they were going up 35, and of course, the 35 was blocked off so that they could rush the motorcade and whoever else was behind them, onto the hospital at Parkland. Well, as my grandmother pulls up, a man runs to the side of her door and basically opens it and says, "Ma'am, I need to commandeer this car. I'm Secret Service." So she slides over to the passenger seat. He gets in and drives to Parkland and pulls in, not far behind the actual motorcade. And my grandmother and my aunt actually were stood there and got to see and look into the motorcade. And they saw, of course, the blood and all that stuff. But they are actually featured prominently many times whenever they show recordings of folks standing around milling about at the Parkland Hospital. And it's her, my grandmother, and my aunt, and they're seeing, it always kind of pans to them, and they're crying, and then it kind of pans away. So I thought that's a kind of interesting little factoid in my family's history. In 1968, Lindsay Usion was voted the University of Houston's 1968 homecoming queen over 5 white candidates, the school's first black homecoming queen. She was the first black to be elected homecoming queen at a major southern university. Usion had been an activist pushing for change on campus and in her neighborhood. Sadly, she was murdered on September 10, 1971, but no one was ever convicted of her murder. In 1976, Addie Jody Conrad coached her first women's basketball game at UT Austin, a 72-58 win over McLennan Community College. Conrad was born in Goldthwaite in 1941, where she starred on the high school women's basketball team. During her 31 career at UT Austin, her teams won 10 Southwest Conference titles and 1 national championship. She was National Coach of the Year 4 times, and her 1986 team became first in NCAA history to go undefeated and win a national championship. When she retired in 2007, she was second in Division I victories behind only Pat Summitt of Tennessee. Conrad is a member of both the Naismith Memorial Basketball and Women's Basketball Halls of Fame. And that, my friend, was your Texas History Roundup for November 22nd. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. All right, you take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.